The deafening roar of bombers overhead shattered the eerie silence of the makeshift field hospital. Nurse Sarah Johnson's hands trembled as she steadied herself against the rickety operating table. The acrid smell of smoke and disinfectant filled her nostrils as she locked eyes with the young soldier before her. His face, pale and drawn, reflected the terror they both felt. "Stay with me, soldier," she whispered, her voice barely audible above the chaos. As dawn broke over the war-torn French countryside, Sarah emerged from her tent, dark circles under her eyes betraying her lack of sleep. The relentless stream of casualties from the previous night's offensive had kept her on her feet for over 18 hours. She quickly tied back her auburn hair and donned her white cap. The red cross on her arm, a stark reminder of her duty amidst the brutality of war. The calm was short-lived. A convoy of trucks rumbled into the camp, their beds filled with wounded soldiers. Sarah's heart raced as she sprinted towards them, her mind already assessing the injuries she could see. "Triage! We need immediate triage!" she shouted, her training kicking in as she directed her fellow nurses. As she worked, Sarah's thoughts drifted to her life before the war. The quiet halls of the nursing school, the laughter of friends, the comfort of home. Now, surrounded by the groans of the injured and the sharp orders of doctors, those memories seemed like a distant dream. A young private caught her attention, his leg mangled beyond recognition. Sarah knew the grim reality. Amputation was his only chance of survival. She steeled herself as she prepared him for surgery, her gentle touch and soothing words a stark contrast to the brutality of his wounds. Hours blurred together as Sarah moved from patient to patient. She changed dressings, administered morphine, and held the hands of those beyond saving. Each life lost weighed heavily on her heart, but she pushed on, knowing that to falter meant more lives at risk. As the sun began to set, an air raid siren pierced the air. Sarah's blood ran cold as she realized they were in the line of fire. With no time to evacuate, she and her team worked feverishly to move patients to safer areas of the hospital. The ground shook with each explosion, dust and debris raining down around them. In the midst of the chaos, Sarah found herself alone with a critically wounded soldier. His eyes, wide with fear, locked onto hers as the bombs fell closer. Without hesitation, she threw herself over him, shielding his body with her own. In that moment, as debris rained down around them, Sarah realized the true meaning of courage. As the all-clear sounded, Sarah emerged from the rubble, battered but unbroken. She looked around at her fellow nurses, their uniforms stained with blood and grime, yet determination shining in their eyes. Together, they had faced the unimaginable and come out stronger. As night fell, Sarah finally allowed herself a moment of rest. She sat on a crate outside the hospital tent, gazing up at the stars. Despite the horror she had witnessed, a sense of purpose filled her. She knew that tomorrow would bring new challenges, new patients, and new opportunities to make a difference. Sarah's day as a WWII nurse on the front lines had tested her in ways she never thought possible. Yet as she closed her eyes, exhausted but fulfilled, she knew she wouldn't trade her role for anything in the world. For in the face of war's darkness, she and her fellow nurses were a beacon of hope and humanity. If this glimpse into the life of a WWII nurse resonated with you, consider exploring more stories of these unsung heroes. Their courage and compassion in the face of unimaginable adversity continue to inspire us today.